Hi, hello
Hel-
everyone.
Hello, Audrey.
Hey, welcome to Women in Power, where we are just excited to see women rising to the top and sharing phenomenal stories about that. And we have an amazing soul with us today. We have Pam Parks here joining us.
Yeah.
She is, hey Pam. Is the Vice President of Advisor Services with InsurMark. And Pam, you have been in a male-dominated industry for many years and have risen to this position of power. And we were just so in love with your stories that you shared with us about how you created a network of supporting women and how other women have supported you through your journey and how much that meant to you as a leader. And you shared just so much love and energy about that we feel like we need to spread that to everyone. So welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm
Welcome.
so happy to be here. I think that you ladies are wonderful and I love the messages that you're sending. So I am happy to share some stories about some great things that have happened to me because of other women's influence in my life. And it's been amazing what a change we can make for each other. So I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah.
So where would you like me to start?
Yeah, well, you had some amazing stories. So maybe just share what having the support of other women meant to you and maybe what they did and how that's kind of flowed into your style as a leader today.
Absolutely. So I joined the workforce after many years of being a stay-at-home mom, which I absolutely loved and would not trade for anything. But I was home for about 15 years and really wasn't sure what I was going to do when it was time to get back into the workforce. But my husband and I had agreed that when the youngest one completed kindergarten, that would be a fair time for me to get back in. And we wanted to improve our lifestyle with an extra income. And so, we thought this is the best time to do that. So when I first went back to work, I was obviously, I didn't even know how to find a job. And so through networking with other women that I knew, other moms that I knew that might know things, I came across a woman in property and casualty insurance actually at the time. And she said they had an office admin job and wanted to know if I would be interested in applying for that. So it was a simple job. It was close to home. And I started there and was doing fine. And then our company was sold. When the company was sold, I had not been back at work for very long. And that left me we were left, both of the ladies in this office, we were left without positions. So I was kind of workless again. And I was approached by a family member who worked for the company that I'm with now called InsurMark. I've been there 18 years now. And she approached me about going into an industry that I knew absolutely nothing about. And I was terrified of what she talked about. It's retirement, financial products. It's the stock market. It was all very intimidating to someone who had done clerical work for the most part. But she was incredibly encouraging to me and asked me, she said, I want you to take a step of faith and try and be willing to try something new. She said, we can teach you if you've got an open mind. And it was her encouragement that got me to walk through the door and interview with their HR department to go to work there. So 18 years ago, I started in what is one of the lowest positions within the company. Obviously, I didn't have any prior experience, no knowledge, and I set my mind to learning everything that I could learn. And it was a positive attitude and just a sheer force of wanting to be better and to do better that got me through. And so I started and I loved the job. I loved the things that I was learning. Unfortunately, during this time, my husband and I divorced. And so I was very grateful for the job now because suddenly I was a single mom with 3 boys. And I needed this job. Before it had been a help, and now it was a real need. And over time, the staff that I worked with, they were fabulous. We have a true family there. And my kids were old enough to stay at home in the summertime when they were out of school. I was fortunate for that. I didn't have daycare expenses to worry over, but I did have 3 kids at home. who frequently could get into little things, and they would want to call me at work all the time. We have a lovely receptionist that that works with us. She is such a doll, and she knew so many of our employees and understood their backgrounds. And she got to know my children by answering the phones. They would call and they'd say, "Miss Liz, can I speak to my mom, please?" And she was so wonderful because she knew how hard I was trying at my job, that she tried very hard to run interference for me. She would talk to the boys, try to figure out what they were calling about. If it was a little argument, she would see if she could settle it. If they had a question about cooking something for lunch because they didn't know if they were allowed to cook while mom wasn't at home, she would answer those questions. And I absolutely loved her for that, because she saved me probably, from getting into trouble, even in those early days, from taking too many personal phone calls. And she did it with a smile, and she did it just out of a love of, another woman that was at work and trying to do her best to work and be a mom at the same time. She's still with us today. My children are all grown at this point, 18 years later, and they still love to come to the office and visit Miss Liz because they remember her from when they were growing up. So she impacted my life at work, and she impacted theirs as well. So support like that. It was women that taught me about this industry. It is very male dominated. My company has a penchant for hiring women, and I really appreciate that. They encourage each other, and the education that I received there in my early years was just amazing. And so I started working my way up through small promotions to different roles within the company. And I began to learn other departments, and having that cross knowledge has been invaluable in the experience that I've gained there. There were many times when I needed the support of the women around me just to get the job done within the hours that we had. And I never had a failure of positive women who would say, "Tell me how I can help you." And through that, I learned so much. And that's the philosophy that I use now every day. I manage a team of 12 right now, 10 of whom are women, most of whom are working moms. And that is the philosophy that I use with them, is tell me, what can I do for you? Not me giving orders. I have a team that knows they've been educated. They know how to do their jobs, but more frequently than anything, what they need is someone just to be willing to say, tell me what I can do to help you.
Yeah.
One of the things that we wanted them to know is that it's okay to ask for help. I think women have the biggest problem just admitting, I really need some help today, or this week, or on this project, and not feeling confident enough to say or admit that I need someone else's help. And so we really foster an atmosphere where we say it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say my plate is full. And it's okay, to have someone else pick up for you, because we don't judge shortcomings by saying I have too much this week, because this week it may be your week to be too busy, and next week you may be able to help someone else on the team. And so we really foster that kind of environment there. And that's what I was shown as I was growing there and learning. I've gained a lot of confidence because of the support of other women within the company. As I said, I took some additional roles. I took on additional responsibility, any chance that I could, just trying to prove, I can do this, and I'm learning more. And I had become a team leader within our annuity case manager group. And I enjoyed that. They kind of called me the mama bear. I was by age older than many of the women that I was working with, because they were all starting fresh out of college. They were, a lot of my coworkers were young at the time. And so I kind of took on a mama bear role. And so I was there to make sure that the others were doing okay. And I, just kind of check to make sure, do you need help? What else can we do? And I enjoyed that position a lot. I had my immediate supervisor was the vice president at the time of our division, and I admired her, and she was fantastic. Very suddenly one day, she accepted another position out of the country. She was actually Dutch, and she made a decision to join a company and go and take her family and go back home. Which was a bit of a shock to all of us, because she was a very long-term employee as well. And no one really expected her to ever leave that role. She was dynamic and very good at what she did. And it left all of us a little unwell, not knowing what was going to happen. And we had some male leaders above us at the time. and we really weren't sure who was going to fill that position. And would they, would they bring in someone from the outside? Would they consider someone from the inside? And I know there were a lot of discussions. I was far enough advanced to know that those things were really being looked at. I had not been asked at that point if I was interested in that position. And I wasn't fully surprised by that. I'd been there at that point for 11 years. And so, I had some experience, but I also didn't have executive level experience necessarily. And I knew that that's what they were looking for. So I debated for a little while about what to do about that. And how did I feel about somebody from the outside coming in and trying to manage this team that was working together so well already. And one day I decided that there was no harm whatsoever in me walking into our CEO's and president's office and asking for a meeting. And I took a step that I never thought that I would be capable of doing. And I went in to specifically ask to be considered for the position. It was a very terrifying moment, but also the most powerful move that I ever made for myself. By walking in there and letting them know that not only was I interested, but that I felt like I had put the time in and had earned the qualifications to be able to do this position and manage it well. I worked well with the team that was already there. And it was a window for me to just walk through. And I knew that if I didn't take it, I was going to regret it. And so I kept a very positive attitude about it. It was a brief meeting. It was painful for me, but only because I was so nervous. And it was accepted very well, surprisingly well. The two gentlemen that I met with just smiled and said that they were honestly pleased that I spoke up, that they had thought about the idea, but that I was not in a front runner position for that role. But I changed their minds. Wow. And with that one positive outlook meeting that I requested, several days later, they offered me that position. And so 7 years later, I am the Vice President of Advisor Services with InsurMark, and I manage that team. It's grown, and we've added 3 people in this last year to the team, and our business is continuing to grow. We had our most profitable year ever in 2022. And we just finished our annual company meeting day before yesterday, talking about our plans for 2023 and where we're headed. And my team plays a huge role in that. And so I've got a group of women that are supporting each other and encouraging each other. And the one thing that I ask them is just to remain as positive as they can. Yeah. Mistakes are made. We all do them. But opening up and being honest about it and saying, okay, yeah, I did that. What can I do to fix it? What can we do to fix it? And we just don't point fingers. And we need more than anything to just lift each other up. And I think at some point in the future, when I get ready to retire from this company, I think that there are more than one ladies on my team that could be considered for stepping up into this position. And I think now that that's something that would be considered first, rather than as an afterthought. Wow. So, but it's just about that positive attitude and encouragement and just not giving up. That's the one thing I would say is just don't give up, and don't ever give up on yourself. Keep trying, keep educating, and keep pressing forward. So stay positive.
That is amazing. You made a whole circle, and we can pick apart like so many areas of that, because all the stories you shared are just incredible. And, the support that the support that you gotten, the encouragement that you received, and how it's just led into everything you do. And now that you're sharing that level of confidence to go in and get the position and show other women that it could be done, and now changing a process of a whole organization, that it's not an afterthought. It's just, you're the exact reason why we have women in power, and showing what it makes a difference to have women like you at the top. So wow.
Well, thank you.
And also the boldness that made them change their mind, or they saw, oh, wait a second, who is executive level? She stepped up, she spoke up. That window of boldness that that we're calling it. Oh, amazing. I love it. Love it.
Well, thank you. The worst thing that can happen is they could have said, no, we're moving a different direction. And, would I have been disappointed? Absolutely. But I would have been more disappointed if I hadn't taken that chance.
Yes.
And so that's what I would encourage and say, if you see that, don't be afraid to take those kinds of risks.
And you did it for the team, because I heard in the story, you saw your team and you're like, nobody else can really come in, and what are they going to do here? And let me step up so I can protect them. So somehow your protection, your boldness, everybody won.
And now they have a dynamic leader that's
Yes.
helping support them and really give them that encouragement, and the working mothers think. I love that you're just being flexible and understanding that needs change, and the support system of, okay, one day, and the rotation there, and creating that like self-organizing system that we really talk about a lot in our systems as well. And you've naturally created that with your leadership style. So that's incredible. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. I want the women that I work with to feel that comfortable with what they're doing. I want them to be that happy in what they're doing. And I would wish that for all women in the workplace. I really would, is to feel that comfortable and that confident, and be that positive minded as much as you can. Everybody's got bad days. It's not always easy, but you just can't give up.
Yeah. Well, you made us happy, comfortable, and reminded us all to step into faith today and support other women, Pam. So thank you so much for being with us today on Women in Power. And
Thank you.
we're just so excited to keep in touch with your journey and how many more women rise under your leadership. And
Yeah.
if there's anything we can ever do to serve you, let us know.
Oh, thank you so much. You ladies are wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.